Feeling worthy of health, wealth, love, and happiness. Now, these are the 4 pillars that you've maybe noticed I talk about in other videos if you've watched other videos. And this is a big one because feeling worthy is what we all desire to feel. Like at the end of the day, it's not why can't I make more money or why can't I find a healthy, loving relationship? Why can't I be healthy? It's feeling worthy of having, holding, and maintaining those things. And I want to first show you the little diagram that I usually talk about in balance, which is your health, wealth, relationships, which is also love, and then your happiness / your hobbies and such. Okay, hobbies. Now, what I really want to start breaking down first and foremost is, one, where does all of this come from? Because there's a root to all of this. And sometimes we are out here running around like chickens with our head cut off and I only know that because I used to do the same, because I didn't realize where all of this came from. But first, I want to break down what it is that these things they give us, right? And wealth. What does wealth give you? Because it's not really the money we want. It's not the wealth. It's not the success. It's not all of that we want. But what is it that we're looking to feel? It's the emotions that are on the other side of the thing it is that we want. So typically what we're looking for is security. We're looking to feel accomplished, purposeful, maybe even helpful. We like to help people. Whenever I get on discovery calls, whenever somebody's looking for support in their career, the first thing I usually ask is, why do you want to do the career that you do? And almost every single time people say, I want to help other people. We're designed that way. So typically those are the emotions. That's what you're seeking underneath the wealth, the success, the career growth. And maybe it is even freedom. Freedom, that's a big one. Okay. And there's more, whatever that looks like for you. Health. Why do we seek health? Comfort. Energy. I know that health makes me feel joy and gratitude. I can't tell you. I used to be really sick growing up, and now that I have my health, like I maybe get sick once a year. I used to get sick like every month, maybe more. And since I have my health and I rarely ever get sick, gosh, I can't tell you how much joy I feel, how much comfort I feel, the energy I feel, and just feeling like confident too. That's a big one. But you feel energetic, you feel joyous, you feel grateful, comfort. Okay, relationships, love, connection, joy, peace. Okay, and your happiness and hobbies probably bring you joy, gratitude, excitement, fun, pleasure, right? And a lot of these emotions can go, depending how you feel about each one, can go in different places. But I want you to realize that beneath these things, beneath a relationship, beneath getting to do your hobbies and all of this, beneath all of this are the emotions it is that you seek. And so that is really what we have to focus on when we're talking about expanding our self-worth, healing our worthiness blocks, and feeling worthy of health, wealth, love, and happiness, is going to be the language of emotion. We're not really talking about, we're going deeper. We're not talking about the layer of How do I make more money? How do I do the thing? How do I take the action? Because your mind and behaviors naturally do those things when your inner world is feeling good about it. Okay? So you're seeing these are all of the emotions. I know that you don't want wealth because you want to feel angry. I know that you don't want health because you want to feel shameful, right? You want all these things because they bring you positive, high vibrating emotions that give you energy, that give you confidence, that make you and that are expansive, okay? And so, we talk about the map of consciousness a lot because it's a really great way to understand emotions. And, and if we've had life experiences that have created blocks to receiving these emotions that are on the other side of these things that we want, then we're going to have to move through those. So, low vibrating emotions, and you'll see it on the chart, look like shame, guilt, anger, fear, anxiety, even resistance, lack. That's what I think of when I see desire on that chart. I think of lack. And because there's really nothing wrong with desire if you follow God's will for you and you listen to the desires that He puts on your heart. But in this chart, what He's referring to is like desire from a place of lack, not having enough, not enough, / never enough. Okay. So that's the thing. What's keeping us from feeling worthy of these things are these trapped emotions. Whatever the emotion, and if I missed an emotion, plug it in, right? But these trapped emotions that we have around being healthy, around being wealthy, around having a healthy, loving relationship and friendship, around allowing ourselves to enjoy our life and incorporate hobbies and happiness into our life. Now, the big thing is that people try to, and I've tried this myself in the past, is I've tried to take on achieving these things by myself and doing it on my own. And the truth is that in the center of your life should be God. I have not found it any other way to work, and I have tried everything. And until I was saved by Jesus Christ, I had always had these gaping holes inside of me. And even when I tell you I had everything in my life, I still felt like there was something missing. And I said, I will walk to the ends of this earth until I figure it out. And then I got saved by Jesus. And I tell you, the whole world came crashing down on me in the best way because for the first time in my life, I didn't have any questions. All of my questions were answered. There is no more, oh, Lauren's a truth seeker. Like, I know the truth. And all of my voids have been filled. It doesn't mean life is easy all of the time, but I do know the way and the way for me. And what I'm saying all of this because one thing I think is important to understand is that when all of this doesn't come from God, it doesn't feel good. I have a Bible verse here. It's one of my favorite that I like to remind myself of. I'm just looking at it. It is a good thing to receive wealth from God, Ecclesiastes 5:19. And that was one thing I woke up when I saw that verse. I was like, oh my gosh, because the way that I was creating wealth was not from God. When I had more money than I had ever seen in my life when I was in real estate and I was purchasing properties and I was investing and I did really great things with that money, don't get me wrong, but I was absolutely miserable and I had debilitating back pain. I couldn't get out of bed and I couldn't understand why. And it was because I was selling in ways I was not proud of. I was putting money before people and I was absolutely making money my master. That is not wealth from God. And there were also times when I was focused on my health and how I looked. It wasn't my internal health. and how I felt inside, but how I looked. And if I looked skinny, if I looked attractive, and constantly changing my body, I was never happy. When I would get really skinny, I'd be like, oh, now I want to be thicker and be curvier. And then I would count my macros and change everything, and it was never enough. And I was stuck in this place of like, never enough, never going to be enough. Same thing with my wealth, never enough, need to keep making more money, and in survival mode. Same thing in relationships. When I had relationships pop up in my life, they fed my anxious attachment style. They fed my toxic patterns, my desire for toxicity, and my inability to allow myself to have closeness because I didn't grow up with that. I didn't understand that. And then I completely disregarded all of my hobbies. I didn't even know who I was at that time. I was like, I don't even know what I like. So there's no way I can even incorporate anything in addition that would make me happy besides maybe going out and drinking and dancing and then waking up in the morning and being like, okay, what was all of that for? Now I feel like crap. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about here when sometimes we're running around in circles trying to obtain these things when it's totally possible to have them and have them all when they're from God. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is there is a way that your heart feels good when you ask God, how do I receive money from you? How do I make money righteously and manage money righteously? How can I find love from you? And all of that requires healing because underneath all of that dirt and all of those layers of pain and past traumas and anger and shame and guilt, you find Holy Spirit. You find this connection with God that you have been searching for your entire life, and I promise you. And when you find that inner voice and it guides you, your entire life changes. It literally tells you. God tells you how to take steps towards wealth. That's the reason I'm standing here in front of you on YouTube. God spoke to me a year ago and said, get back on YouTube. I didn't decide to do it until a few months ago from the date of this video. And it's been the best decision since because now I've been having clients drop into my offers just out of nowhere. I've been having discovery calls. All of these amazing things have been happening if I only listened to God sooner. But I had gotten in my own way and I had gotten to a place where I wanted to try to figure it out myself and do it the hard way. And that's the thing. Sometimes we're stuck here trying to make it hard when life can be really easy. And I didn't know life could be easy. I didn't know easy. I only knew that life was hard my entire life growing up. I wasn't really raised in a family that spoke about God and God-centeredness. I did go to a Christian school, but it was more like religious type of structure, if you will, but there was no understanding of like the love of God and how God so badly wants to give us all these things and he's created us so worthy. But it's like we keep trying to make ourselves feel worthy of all these different things, but really, if we want to first feel worthy of being loved by God, because these are all the blessings from God. Like these are all from God. And that's something I feel like we really need to recognize. And I watched this movie one time and it's called The Case for Christ. I highly recommend it. I think it'll change your mind because it's not just to believe in God, but to receive. And that's what they talk about a lot is to believe is to receive. And you know what else they talked about is that people may struggle to want to believe in the Father or receive from the Father when they have father wounds. And that is exactly the wound that I had. My father left when I was about 10 or 11 years old. And that was one of the hardest moments of my life. Like I knew in my heart, I knew I would never see him again. And I haven't seen him since. He moved to another country, started a new life, and I haven't seen him since. Used to live with him every single day. My parents got divorced. He left. And since that moment, little Lauren was stuck in that moment of 10-year-old, 11-year-old self, not feeling worthy of a father's love. And until I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and I began to allow God to be my father, versus just my biological father that was here on this earth and birthed me. Thank God I'm here. But my true father is God. But because of all those blocks and wounds, I really struggled to receive, or at least have it and hold it. And if I did receive it, I wasn't comfortable. It wasn't from God and it wasn't of God. And so I just couldn't figure it out. I'm like, even when I have everything I've ever wanted, and that's what clients say to me when they come to me. I work with millionaires. I work with six-figure clients. I work with all sorts of different clients. Doesn't matter how much money they make. But even when they have every single thing that they want, they say, I don't know why I'm still not happy. And it is that piece. And so let's talk about, I'm going to erase this, although I really like this. Definitely take notes on this. And if you guys are taking notes, drop them in the comments. I love to hear what you guys are taking from this. But in order to heal the worthiness block, what will we have to do? It's not, you have to not just believe, but to receive. Open up to receive. Now, if you struggle to receive a compliment or receive a gift from somebody or anything, like, you have to start practicing receiving. This is a really good practice. I'm actually doing a receiving challenge right now, and I'm about to launch a 12-week group program on block and receive. If you want information to that, send me a comment, or you can email me. My email's down there too. But it's going to be so, so good. And I do it every year. So depending when you're watching this video, you may be able to pop in around every January. So open up to receive, unblock and receive that. And that's the big thing, is that you've got to recognize, if even when somebody gives you a compliment or somebody tries to give you a gift, or if you're constantly always putting others first, you've got to recognize like how that sends your brain a message. Every time you people please, or every time you sacrifice yourself for somebody else's needs, you just sent your brain a message like, I'm not worthy of receiving. And this creates this receiving block. And this also falls into the category of God and receiving from God, because all things in life are from God. God is our creator. He gives us everything, even the people who it is that want to give us something. So like I said, if you go all the way to God, you'll be able to receive in other places and realize these are all gifts and blessings from God. And what I was saying about the receiving challenge, a really good thing would be to recognize what it is that you've already received from God. I'm standing in a home that has shelter, that has heat and AC if I need it, that has filtered water, and my fridge is stocked with food. These are all from God. I was not set up for this. I was not set up to live a life the way that I live right now. And sometimes, and this is my own receiving block, I can't even believe I'm here. Sometimes I'm like, is this real life? And sometimes I have to sit with it and really remind myself to receive it. And that's why being in this receiving challenge that I'm hosting, I do it with the girls, and I do it with everyone. And being in this challenge, I'm just like, oh, I have to remember to just receive it. I've got a pool outside. I've got this beautiful palm trees. Like, I grew up in the north and up north, and it was so cold there and I hated it. And like, just to be able to live here and be here sometimes catches me in awe. And I'm like, am I really worthy of this? And the truth is, why not? Why not? The only things that have taught us that we may not be worthy are our traumas. And so, open up to receive. How do we do that? Heal our receiving blocks. Meaning, traumas. I have a client that constantly was guilt tripped for anything that he ever wanted growing up at like 5 years old. This little kid would want to go to the park, and his parents would be like, oh yeah, everything's about you, at 5 years old. And that's traumatic. That will keep you stuck in guilt. That will harness like shame around even wanting or having desires. And that's really tough. Makes me sad to even think about right now, because it's just, if you grew up in a position where somebody made you feel bad as a little kid for wanting or desiring something, then you're going to have a really hard time even feeling safe to think about what it is that you want in life, let alone receiving it. And so you've got to go down to the traumas. And then from those traumas, you have to understand what the trapped emotions are. And from those trapped emotions, you have to feel them and let them go. You really have to sit and feel that guilt, because underneath that is so much love. So much love. I can't tell you, when you really do move through these traumas, I thought I could never not hate. I love them. This stuff is real. And nobody wants hate on their heart. I don't like having hate on my heart. It doesn't feel good. It feels dense. It feels icky, and it feels low vibrational. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you tired. You wonder why you're not motivated. Your energy system's bogged down with these trapped emotions. So, from those traumas, you need to understand what are the trapped emotions, because trapped emotions create beliefs, okay? Emotions create beliefs, which create fears, which create actions, which create outcomes that keep us stuck in a reality. This is what creates our reality. Only because those trapped emotions, they create beliefs about ourselves, and then they create fears that turn into these behaviors and actions to placate our fears and then give us these outcomes. And that's how your reality is created. So when you wonder why you're stuck in these loops, you're not able to get through your blocks, you're not able to take the next step or get to the next level and receive your desires, it's because these traumas. And these traumas, they create trapped emotions. Those trapped emotions probably look something like shame. I feel even shameful for even wanting something or even desiring something. And you have to release that, and you have to start talking to God about it and feeling really safe wanting something. And you start small. When you open the fridge, you think about it like, okay, what do I want? What do I really want to eat right now? And start to feel safe, just like wanting an apple. Okay, I want an apple, and just notice it, because it's those little acts of noticing. Because then when these little moments can become bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, I don't just want an apple, I want an apple pie. I want somebody to make me an apple pie. Can I request, right? My aunt makes the best apple pie. Auntie, do you think you could make me that apple pie that you make? I love it so much. She'd probably be like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy you asked. I say that because I never would have thought. I wasn't all that close with my aunt, but I just told her one day, I was like, I love your apple pie. If you ever make it again, let me know. She made me 3. She froze 2 and she gave me 1, and she made me 3 apple pies. She was so excited to be asked to make me an apple pie that she made me 3 apple pies. And I think it was my boyfriend at the time that really drove it home, because I was at the time really nervous to ask for what I wanted, especially from family, because people would hold it over me at times, and that's what I was used to, and being gaslit about it or held over my head later. And so I didn't like that collateral. I'm like, I don't want to owe anybody anything later. She wanted to make me apple pies every time she saw me. She expected absolutely nothing in return. She's like, is your boyfriend going to be with you? I'm going to make apple pies. She was so excited, and I had no idea. And so with the help of my boyfriend at the time, he was like, yeah, I really love your apple pies. If you make one, call me up. And she made 3. And it's just so funny, right? It's just, we're so afraid to ask for the things that we want. We feel so guilty and so shameful for even wanting something. And that's how I used to feel about money at times. It's like, why does wanting money feel so dirty? And for me, that was because I had hit burnout. And I felt that if I wanted money, like I was going to turn back into that version of myself. But healing my relationship with money was a life-changing experience. If that's something that you need to do, then the Money Expansion Club is definitely something for you. There's a money mastery course in there, and we meet every month on a live group call to go over the course and everything, hold you accountable. The course is unreal, moves through receiving blocks, worthiness blocks around money, healing your relationship to money. So definitely jump into that. We've got lots of new members jumping in, and it's been so cool. And a lot of people getting some really, really great results there. So it definitely showed up with money for me. When that changed, life changed. And now I feel like you start to feel like you're really worthy of the things it is that you desire. And you start to say, like, I'm not even taking that because I know I'm worthy of even more. And that's the cool thing, but you've got to heal those trapped emotions. How do you heal those trapped emotions? Okay, there's an origin story, maybe many, that you may have to go back to and feel for the times that you didn't, right? So little Lauren, when my dad left when I was 10 years old, I still remember the night, and I cried a little, and I actually cried quite a bit. When my dad left, I cried, and I would cry here and there, and I would cry, but I remember the day that I would keep messaging him, and I would say, like, when are you coming back? Are you ever coming back? And he would just kind of, give me half answers and like shrug me off because we would email. And then there was one day I got so angry, and I remember the day I turned off my emotions. And I said, screw this guy. He's not taking a hold of my emotions. And I bottled up all my emotions. When really I needed more space to cry. I needed support. That's a big life event that I probably should have went to therapy for and got more support around. And I blocked off all my emotions. So at that age was where I got stuck. That was the origin story. And in order to heal that wound, I had to go back there and feel all those emotions that I bottled up. All the anger, all the grief, that's another one, all the sadness, all of the anxiety, all the feeling like I was just worthless, and even the shame that my father left me as a little girl, like that felt so shameful. And it was really sad. It was really, really sad. And I had to go back there more than once. And I had to feel all of those feelings. I had to let them go. I had to journal about it. I had to write about it. I had to pray about it. I had to talk to God about it. I had to sit with it. And then I had to finally, so the origin story, and then you have to feel, and then you got to let it go. I was finally ready to let it go. And, here's the thing. I felt like I wasn't worthy of love, especially God's love. That's a father. That's a masculine. That's a male. And I was so used to living in this like paradigm, in this reality of this is my reality. I don't have a father. It was almost a little bit of victim mentality that came up sometimes. It was also just this like, it's all I knew. And all of these emotions were all like really prevalent in me, and I didn't know what it felt like to be on the other side of this block. So it was intimidating to like let it go and expand. And to let it go meant that I was letting go of control. And I kept trying to control through relationships. The next relationship I got into, I would try to make the man act differently because I would choose men just like my father, and then I would try to make them love me, and it just never worked out because I was constantly trying to rewrite the story through the same script that's already been written instead of just making a new decision. And the only reason I couldn't make a new decision or start making new choices is because I didn't let it go. These emotions and these scenarios and these memories were living rent free in my body because I wouldn't let it go. And that was the only pattern I knew. And I was so desperate to change the story because I just couldn't accept that this was my reality. Acceptance is a high vibrating emotion. Couldn't accept it. I was like, no way, my dad left me. And the truth was, he did. And I had to accept it. And I had to accept that he had his own demons and that he had his own stuff going on. And so when I did let it go, I had to give it to God. I had to sit with Jesus. And I had to let him take it away. And I had to feel worthy in his love and presence. And I had to feel worthy of being taken care of like that. And all of these emotions just flooded through me, like love like I've never felt before, worthiness like I've never felt before. And God even spoke to me and he said, to not see your worth and value is to not see my value, because I am in you. I've created you. I am you, right? We have Holy Spirit inside of us. And if God is in me, like, and he has created me, to not know my own value is to not know his value. And that is the truth. I was like, did you just say that? I'm not making this stuff up. I couldn't have made that up. He said that to me. And I'm like, wow, that is crazy. And it's the truth, though. To not know your value is to not know God's value, what he can do for you in your life, the blessings that he can give to you. And gosh, when I really look back, and like I said, I still have a hard time sometimes, like looking at my life and saying like, wow, I'm here and fully receiving it, because of what he can do in my life is so incredible. Because I came from, it was tough, and it's not as tough as other people, right? Everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own journey, but it was tough. And just because, and I want to also mention this, just because someone's life was harder than yours doesn't mean yours didn't hurt. Doesn't mean yours wasn't hard. So I'm sitting here and I'm explaining to you my tough, my hard, but you've got your own hard. You've got your own difficult. And what you'll have to do is give it away, give it up to him, give it to God, sit with Jesus. He died on the cross. He suffered. He suffered so that we didn't have to. And when that really clicks, oh my gosh, someone loves me that much. It's intimidating. It's intimidating, especially when you have daddy issues, to think that somebody loves you that much. And through all the bad things that you did, that somebody can still love you that much, no matter what you did. So here's what happens. Here's your current capacity. Currently, what you feel worthy of is maybe, I always use the same numbers, $50K a year, no relationship, or no healthy relationship. Let's say this is your current comfort zone. This is where you're at. $50K a year. Maybe no gym, no consistency, and like maybe some mediocre health. Right? You fill it up, whatever it is. And what you're looking to do is you're looking to expand. And when you let it go, that's what happens. You expand. And you expand to healthy love and friendships / relationships. Let's say we're at 100K per year. Right, you plug your numbers in. Consistent gym routine. Happy. Peace. Love. Right? These are your baselines. And that's the thing I'll always mention in every single video. I am not here to talk about toxic positivity. I am here to tell you that there is a place where you can live in peace and you can visit the fear and the chaos and you can move through it, let it go. And then you can go back to your baseline of peace, joy, love, happiness. But then when you need to, you come and you feel the shame and the guilt and you let it go and you release it. You give it to God and then you go back home. Right? And that's the thing. So when you're wanting to expand, it's not comfortable. If it was, more people would be doing it. And what happens in that stretching sensation from your current capacity, your current comfort zone of where you're currently stuck at, right? And we're going to put grief, guilt. These are some emotions that are stuck in here. Shame. What happens when you're stuck in your current capacity and you're trying to expand out of it? This is what happens. When you reach that stretching sensation, it's so uncomfortable, I can't tell you. That's almost like once things are going good and these bad things start to happen, that's like that retract period. It's like on the way to that stretching and settling into that new capacity is discomfort, is challenges, are tests to make sure, are you ready to be here? And that's you being tested to make sure you're good. You're ready to settle here. You've got the courage, you've got the strength to move through that toughness. And I see it like playing a video game. It's like the levels get harder and harder and harder and harder. And it's like we stretch. And that's it. And sometimes, yeah, we retract, right? And like things don't go so well. But then once you get past that hump of the stretching sensation, of the discomfort, and you settle into that new place, it's like, I'm in a new reality. But then the growth continues, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the growth stops and you get to sit and relax and hang out and chill. No, you get to start to feel the good emotions along the journey versus trying to always chase and reach for them. You start to incorporate happiness, peace, freedom, relaxation in your journey instead of running in circles through chaos and fear and anxiety and feeling like nothing's ever enough and you're in survival mode. So that is the big difference here. And, that is the healing of the worthiness block. There's no other way to say it besides like you've got to heal your wounds so that you start to feel worthy and deserving of God's love and God's grace and his forgiveness. And a big piece in this is going to be to repent. It's going to be to really feel bad for the things that you have done in your life that you're not very proud of, and to ask for forgiveness. But do it with emotion, because like I said, like emotions are the language of the subconscious, the language of God. Like that is how we communicate before words even come out of our mouth. You usually know what somebody's feeling the second they walk up to you because you could feel it on their vibration. So go down all the way to the source, all the way to the core, and play the inner game. It is an inner game, not an outer game, and that's what's in there. And it just makes so much sense. It just makes so much sense to live like this and to want to expand and grow into these new places. And I also want you to know that it is to believe and receive. Believe it's possible. So step 1 is to believe that it's possible. 1, believe it's possible. How do you do that? Start looking for signs in the world. If you feel resistance towards that, that's your brain trying to stay stuck over here because this is your comfort zone. Trying to stay stuck in these low vibrating emotions that are trapped in your body, and they're going to fight for their lives to stay in there. But you can let them go. Believe it is possible. Look for the little things. Like I said, just receiving something to eat. An apple. Oh, I want an apple. I'll receive that. And that's why we do that receiving challenge, because it's starting to get away from all the things that you don't have and looking at all of those things you don't have to receiving and looking at all the things that you constantly receive, because that's what creates this belief. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much I actually do receive on a day-to-day. So believe it's possible. And then 2, let it in. That's why receiving is the 4th step in the pattern breaking method, because when you receive a new desired outcome, that's when your life changes, because you actually let yourself have it. It's typically not that we don't know how to do something or don't know how to go get it. It's that we don't allow ourselves to have it. So receive, allow yourself to have it. So when I work with clients around money, especially inside the Money Expansion Club, is what happens is they come to me and they're like, Lauren, I'm doing everything right. I said, yeah, you are. I said, okay. And as you're doing those things, what are your thoughts like? Self-doubt, negativity. Why would they choose me? Literally, a member inside the Money Expansion Club on the live call recently, she's like, I've been applying to all these jobs and I've been applying to X amount every day, and I've been so vigilant and consistent, and I've sat down and I've been doing everything right. And I said, you absolutely have been. But what is the action without the belief? You don't even realize the energetic wall that you put up to block it when you don't believe it's possible. And in order to believe, yes, look for signs in the world, but heal. Heal the blocks, heal the receiving blocks, because that's where all those limiting beliefs lie, is down in there, where that are blocking you from your belief to actually receive what it is you desire. So that's what I have for you. Again, I will post about the receiving challenge if you're watching this video. Not the receiving challenge. Unblock and Receive, the 12-week program, is for women only. Men, if you want to work with me, it's one-on-one coaching. And I will post about it in a post. So if you want to get that update or any of my updates for any of my programs, then definitely subscribe so you can get those notifications. And if you're watching this video somewhat close to the date, then we probably haven't started yet. And just send me an email or get in touch with me about any of my other programs, or you can just book a free discovery call and we can see what is a good fit for you or a good match for you if there's availability, of course. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. That's all I have for you today. Good luck.